So the finals has been out for around 6 weeks now. However, it is still a pretty new shooter in the grand scheme of things, and a lot of people are still adjusting to the game and trying their best to improve. Today I wanted to go over a few tips that will cause you to instantly improve at the game, and most of the things in this video are very easy to learn. Now, the first one is very basic, and all you need to do for this is heading into the practice range, and what you're going to do is learn the recoil patterns of all of your favorite weapons. The recoil in this game is very repetitive. A lot of other games out there often have random patterns in terms of they'll generally trend in the same way, but they are randomized every single time. However, with this game, the recoil pattern is near on identical every single time you shoot the weapon. If you guys simply head into the practice range and shoot at one of the walls, don't, hold your stick down and try and control that recoil or anything. Literally just shoot the weapon and empty the clip, and just take note of what that recoil pattern looks like. Do it a few times to try and learn the pattern of that weapon. Then from there, if you try and pretty much just do the complete opposite of what that pattern is doing, for example, if it is drawing up and to the right, you just want to pull down on the stick down and to the left at roughly the same rate you think that recoil is happening. And what that's going to result in is, as you can see here, your bullets are going to be very accurate compared to without any recoil control. So this one is very simple. I'm sure a lot of the better players out there have already done this, but for those who haven't, this is definitely the best way to learn to control your recoil and therefore make your bullet accuracy a hell of a lot better. Now, the next area where you can drastically improve in pretty much an instant is just using the right specializations for each class. While there's not necessarily any objective bests in the game, I want to run you guys through the best specialization for each class. Starting off with the light class, I would definitely recommend using the cloak ability, as this is super clutch for pretty much just catching enemies off guard. It allows you to be an absolute pest, and in my opinion, this is by far the best way to play the light class. Now, you can still use the evasive dash, that is also just as good, and to be honest, the grapple is also really good. So like I said, there's not an objective best. If the cloak just does not suit you, then obviously you don't want to use it. But if you guys aren't sure which is the best, from what I've heard from all of the top players in the game, and at least from my own playtime as well, the cloak ability is definitely the best for the light class. As for the medium class, the heal beam, which is just the default, is by far the most important when it comes to winning games. Being able to heal your teammates is just super clutch when it comes to pushing those objectives and even keeping yourself alive, simply because if you're, healing a heavy and you're low on health and you're about to die, well, the heavy can kind of step in and take a bunch of damage for you, or it can allow them to obviously engage in a gunfight and essentially save you that way. So the heal beam is by far the most important. Now, don't get me wrong, the turret is also really solid too, and if you do have a teammate who is also playing medium and they've got a heal beam, then for sure you can run the turret. That is still very solid. But for me personally, the heal beam is by far the most crucial when it comes to your team. As for the heavy class, the mesh shield is easily the best and arguably the best specialization in the entire game. I would personally not use any of the other ones for the heavy class. I would pretty much use the mesh shield every single time you pick the heavy. It allows you to tank so much damage. It can pretty much allow you to save your teammates' lives. For example, you can cover the cash out and let your teammates plant it, and all of the incoming damage is just going to be taken up by your shield, and without that shield you guys wouldn't have been able to get that cash out planted. So be sure to run the mesh shield. Like I said, this is probably the best single specialization in the entire game. Now, before we go any further, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. There is plenty more content on the way covering the finals, so make sure you don't miss out. Now, the next area where you can instantly improve in the finals is pretty much just understanding all of the elements in the game. Now, by the elements, I mean the stuff like the gas, the fire, the smoke. For those who didn't know, all of these can actually be countered by one another. It is essentially just a rock, paper, scissors type of mechanic. Gas can be countered by fire, fire can then be countered by smoke, and so this is going to help a hell of a lot when the cash out is covered by gas. For example, if you were to throw a fire canister or a pyro grenade near the gas, it will essentially burn the gas away, and if you throw it far enough away from the objective, it can leave you enough room to actually steal an objective. The same goes with smoke. If there is a bunch of fire that is covering the cash out and you need to get in there and steal it, if you happen to have any sort of smoke grenade, or you can pick up one of the smoke barrels around the map, simply throw it on that fire. It will just explode and it will get rid of the fire, at which point it's obviously safe to go in there. So this is definitely a big area of the game to try and remember, and it's going to save you more often than not. Now, something else that I see a lot of people not doing, and to be honest, I actually have this issue a lot of the time too, simply because a lot of the games I've played in the past really kind of penalize you for not doing this, but this is hip firing whenever you are close enough to your enemies. Now, like I said, in games like Call of Duty or Battlefield, hip fire is essentially useless unless the gun is literally touching the enemy. However, in this game, the hip fire is actually a little bit more forgiving, and on the flip side of that, just because of the way that the strafing speed works in this game, ADSing will actually make you super slow and therefore a very stationary target. Now, it obviously depends on the weapon, of course, but most weapons in this game do have pretty lenient hip fire, at least at 5 to 10 meters at most. And I guess the benefit of the faster movement that you get from just staying in hipfire and strafing from side to side, that benefit will usually outweigh the negative of just missing a few extra shots. So if enemies are getting really close to you, you definitely want to be trying to hipfire a bit more often, because if you ADS at close range, you're going to miss a lot of shots, and you're also going to be very stationary, meaning you're a very easy target for your enemy. Now, another area where you can instantly improve, and I would argue in this entire video, this may be the most important of the lot, this is to simply slow down. I see so many people playing way too aggressively, and to be honest, when I started, was playing that same way too, and even certain points now, I still play that way. I'm hardwired over 10 to 15 years now of playing Call of Duty and Battlefield and games like that, where it is literally just run and gun, run into a room, try and kill as many people as you can. It is very easy to be in that same mindset when it comes to this game, but if you just slow down and just try and think of each situation before you actually take action, then you are definitely going to win more engagements, and it is realistically the best way to play this game. As an example, if both teammates are dead and, in the meantime, you've been on an absolute tear and you've got a few kills and you really want to finish off the clip-worthy moment and get the final kill, for example, if both of your teammates are dead, simply don't do that. Don't try and rush out and get that last kill. Don't be greedy. In that situation, you should slow down. You should find a safe spot, heal up, reload your weapon. Wait until your teammates have, 3 to 4 seconds left until they respawn. At that point, you are in a really good situation. You've got full ammo, full health, and your teammates are about to come back. And then you can go out there and try and continue that clip-worthy moment. That is kind of the example I'm talking about here, because in a lot of situations, and like I said, I've done this myself plenty of times too, I know that my teammates are dead, but I'm just so hell-bent on trying to get that final kill or try and steal the objective. And in reality, if I just slowed down, sort of took account of the situation and thought about things before I actually took action, then in those situations, I probably would have been able to finish off with getting those kills or stealing the objective and therefore winning the game. Now, the last one is honestly very obvious, but it needs to be said nonetheless, and this is to play with friends regularly. Now, a lot of people obviously do play with friends, but a lot of people, for example, myself, just can't due to the time zones or scheduling differences. For example, I'm a busy guy. I find it hard to find the same times that I play with the people that I usually play with. We all live in different countries. It is just hard to try and, play with friends all the time, so I do play alone a lot of the time. With that being said, though, every single time that I'm playing with my friends, I absolutely do 10 times better. We win far more games. I generally end up with a lot more kills as well. I end up supporting my teammates more and getting more support score, as well as getting more objective score as well. You just will objectively get better at the game playing with friends, and especially if you play with the same friends a lot of the time, that will also help you out a lot too. Now, for any of you guys who maybe just don't have friends that play this game, maybe they're all playing other games, for example, if you are looking for friends to play this game with, be sure to join my Discord. There is a link down in the description, and there are probably plenty of people in there who are going to be playing the game fairly regularly and will gladly squad up with you. So those are some of the best tips that I think you guys should implement into your game. And like I said, if you implement these tips in your very next game, I would almost guarantee that you will begin to do slightly better in the finals. They're all very basic, but if you put all of these into action, you will absolutely be a better player. Let me know if these did help you guys out, and as always, feel free to leave your own tips down below as well. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there in the arena.